Did you ever hear of Kong?
Rareware's Donkey Kong Country trilogy is a triad of platforming masterpieces that established the DK universe as we now know it. The levels are known for their mastery of design, density of secrets, and clever use of hooks. And I just barrel blasted through all of them to find the best ones. Cause I'm Nintendo Dope Man, and these are the Dopest DK Levels.
Let me ponder this proposal.
What's not to love about Congo Jungle's home base? You can go inside DK's treehouse, which holds its own music, an extra life, and a peek into the life of our simian hero. Just below, you can enter the empty cave that will stash their banana hoard once you beat the game. With secrets in the trees and underground, varied enemies, and Rambi plowing through the second half, Jungle Hijinks does what every good first level should do since the very first World 1-1, teach you the basics of the game. The last level in Vine Valley is notable not just for its gorgeous sunset, but for its featured baddie. The Orangutan Gang are distant relatives of the Kong clan that got mixed up with the wrong crowd.
Your ass is not red!
They're very territorial and protect their treetop homes by lobbing barrels.
We're strong and our rage is fueled by ignorance!
I guess barrel throwing still runs in the family, even if you're estranged. But what I always wondered, is it possible that Lanky is an ex-member of this tribe?
For some other crazy-ass reason.
In Dixie's babysitting adventure, there are 3 conceptually cool and challenging waterfall levels, and the one where you must execute some very timely jumps across cascading barrels is a keeper. I have a lot of frustrating memories with this level, and one very, very triumphant memory. As DK and Diddy run across a temple presumably built by and for the Kremlings,
Why did it have to be a snake?
they must think fast and stop for nothing lest they get caught by the hamster wheels of death.
But they all agree, he's just fuzzy-wuzzy adorable, isn't he? He sure is.
Outrunning the naughty gets trickier as the amounts of obstacles increase, from platforming to swinging to rolling through lines of bouncing baddies.
The hamster must be stopped.
The rats in DKC3, which look like the rats from DKC2 after a famine, are often cleverly utilized, and one of these ways is gate locks powered by hamster
The
wheels.
hamster must be
The
stopped.
Kongs unlock the path while simultaneously opening the final gate indicated by this meter you see on every floor, which will then plummet them into the gated area at the very start of the level and end with a short parry section. Top it all off with that swinging jazz tune and you got yourself a f***ing level.
Oh my god, I just found a rat's nest, slaughtered about 200 of them.
In this classic lava level, geysers of hot air erupt from the magma and the Kongs must steer across with hot air balloons. For the first third of the level, you get to ride a rhino on the balloons. I don't know how that's physically possible, but you get to do it. But the majority of the level requires some careful timing, hopping, and barrel handling. This was one of my favorite levels as a kid thanks to its brilliant premise, groovy tune, and heated challenge. But I don't think this is what Dixie meant by a hot date, did he?
I'm not afraid to push a girl into make-believe lava.
I love this level for so many reasons. First off, this dude is my favorite enemy in the whole series. I love his face, his hat, his vest, and his 2 big-ass cutlasses. Secondly, this secret at the start is brilliant. And third, I love the bayou setting. It's dark, mysterious, and it comes with a moody yet funky, almost hip-hop-like track. Along with the music, you gotta appreciate the rhythm of the level design. There's a lot of timed hopping across crocodiles and insects. Honestly, this one should probably be higher up on the list.
This son of a bitch is lying to us.
Of all the levels that have some kind of fish stalking you, this one gobbles them up.
I mean it.
These are the basic water enemies of the third game. Dumb, docile, cheap, cheap, cheap. This is Nibla, and he eats them. Nibla follows you through this course and must be guided toward his next course of sushi to keep his rapidly regenerative hunger at bay. If he goes too long without eating, he's gonna bite the hand that feeds. It's interesting because it ironically makes you wish for more enemies to appear. Except these. He don't like shellfish.
Ugh, he's Jewish.
I do not love this clamber the way I love that other clamber.
What other stuff have you lied about?
I love a challenge, but man, fuck this level sometimes. In the third entry, the DK coins are all guarded inside the trash lid of Oscar the Grouchy Kremlin, aptly named Coin, and only a steel barrel to the backside can take them out. While I have a theory that the penultimate level of the whole series is their home village, and after turning bruised red from all the monkey beatings, they congregated back here to get revenge in this bitch of a level. They use their trash lids to push you off the edge. They move really fast, and like any good platformer, the setups get harder and harder and harder. This shit reminds me of those bastards in Crash Bandicoot. The minecart levels are some of the most famous, so a horror version of that is just my dream. A giant ghost pirate skeleton named Cackle is constantly on your tail, and when the clock hits 0, he claims one of the Kongs. Their only hope is to break every green barrel to add time while avoiding the red barrels that subtract time. It also features an exclusive song and some tricky little bonus rooms. This level gave me lots of trouble as a kid. It's so damn long and so damn hard. The first little section features my favorite enemy, but that's some real misdirection from where the level truly begins a short distance later. You play the whole thing as Squitter, the spider whose webs are the only way to traverse these haunted woods. Squitter was always one of my favorite animal buddies. He can shoot web projectiles and platforms, so his levels are always interesting. But this one takes that to greater heights and lengths. There's large sections with no ground and tons of bees. The bonus rooms are very cleverly hidden, and then there's this bitch of a DK coin.
You maniac!
This level has one of the best hooks and uses it so well. The low gravity forces you to strategize every jump to avoid all the mecha bees that are somehow unaffected by it. Halfway through, you play as purple squawks and use barrels to cut yourself a path. The whole thing has a real claustrophobic effect and can get really difficult. It was a tough choice next to Castle Crush, but this stage wins it with its alternate paths, various obstacles, and many well-hidden secrets. And this song is one of David Wise's best. This one's a tough. The point is to ride a mobile conveyor belt whose draining gas tank needs constant refilling with the fuel tank scattered along the track. The trick is to time every jump perfectly and not miss a single one. The problem is that you can only see so far ahead that many jumps will fall prematurely. Also, enemies keep falling onto the thing, which fucks your shit up. The result is one of the most challenging levels in the original. Considered to be the hardest level of the original, this cold-hearted course combines everything that sucks about ice levels. Slippery surfaces, steep slopes, freezing temperatures, and just to show how much they hate us, they throw in bees, rotating barrels over large chasms, and enemy placement annoyingly akin to Sonic games.
Damn!
The fake-out finale of the sequel is one hell of a memory for me. The first half is a lengthy patch of difficulty that both monkeys will need to reach the end of in order to reach the final bonus room. The second half is a long race between two birds, longtime animal friend Squawks and the antithetical Screech. The impromptu track is a tight maze of thorns infested with bees and hazards, and the adrenaline-pumping, anxiety-inducing music really puts you into the moment. A parrot race is actually a really funny and brilliant idea for the last level before the first final boss in a game about pirates. It's as if the captain's own parrot is hurrying to warn him of the Kong's arrival, if only he made it in time. An all-time fan favorite for the tricky gameplay, for that nostalgic background, and for that exclusive jazzy song. I used to find it hard, but now I just love it. Of all the climb for your life levels, this one kills. Literally. There's no time to think about how big the lumberjacks are, or how big the tree is, or why they're cutting upward instead of side to side, because this level moves fast. Keep to the top of the screen as much as possible, but don't let that coin at the end escape you. This is when the settings started to get truly creative.
A lot of politics going on in the hive.
The first few were awesome and served the plot. Pirate ships, volcanoes, swamps. But this was the start of something mesmerizing. One thing I love about the games of this era is their ability to subtly tell stories through the art design. In the original, Zingers invaded DK Island.
Little b-balls.
But in the sequel, Diddy and Dixie invade their hive.
You gotta give her the business.
I love everything about the Beehive levels. The premise, the music,
The business.
larva watching you from the cones, the sticky honey mechanic, and that spooky atmosphere. There's some smartly stashed secrets at the start, and Squidder changes the playstyle more than this sentence has S's.
And leave us be.
I love the mineshaft level, so it was hard not to include one of my old favorites, the very inappropriately named Squawks Shaft. I realized that what I really loved about it was the music, and that music and mineshaft theme can be found in this vastly superior, insanely harder, far longer level in which a vertical breeze sends the Kong soaring through segments like this, and this. widely considered to be the hardest level not just in the final entry, but in the entire trilogy. A genuinely frightening sprint through a dark and murky field where the worst enemy is Mother Nature. As one of the last levels in the game, I'd expect nothing less. It's like you're running across the haunted front yard, the final stretch before the castle of Baron K. Rulenstein, where you have to carefully avoid the lightning. The original's best level is an unforgettable one. From its gloomy atmosphere to its claustrophobic caves to the whole central premise. DK and Diddy play in the most intense game of traffic light. The barrels that read go must be switched to stop to put these charging bastards to sleep for just a few seconds. This enemy is called Rock Crocs. They only appear in this level. They're super fast and super creepy. You'd think the spooky ghost one would rank this high, but that's just how good the roller coaster levels are. That background is stunning, that music is infectious, and the race is thrilling. This one requires you to go super fast and get that first place prize of a DK coin. And there's no checkpoint, so you have to know the whole level like the back of your cursed monkey paw to nail it, especially these quick jumps toward the end. Fortunately, that's no problem for those wise enough to love and play this level as much as it should be. In addition to 2 coasters, 2 beehives, and a bayou level with this guy, this cherry on the sundae makes Crazy Kremlin the best and coolest world in the whole series. This is the most legendary level in the entire series. People often give higher billing to Bramble Blast, and that one is just as amazing. But at the same time, this one is slightly amazinger. It's longer, harder, and it's stuffed with well-hidden, well-guarded secrets. It's set up as 2 squawk sections sandwiching a Kong section with a secret Squitter section. And in contrast to the entire genre of platforming, it mostly has you going from right to left, which I honestly find as interesting as I do disorienting. And of course, the most notable thing about it, that song. Sticker Brush Symphony. A legend on its own. Bramble Scramble was so hard to me as a kid, but even though I find it a breeze now, my mastery of this series doesn't hinder my enjoyment of it for a single second. The final level of Diddy's Conquest is famously considered the hardest in the game, so it's lucky that it's also such a damn good idea done so damn well. This one puts the animal buddies center stage. The first quarter kicks off with Rambi ramming his way through the primal jungle. The next one funnels you into Ungard for an icy water segment. The next one turns you into Squitter for half of another primal environment and then another half of a bramble environment, but with no barrels to blast through. Instead, you must carefully navigate your way with Squitter's webs until you get to the true hard part of the level, flying with squawks in the final stretch while fighting against a back-and-forth wind. Animal Antics is a microcosm of the game that it's in. A natural blend of multiple environments, enemies, characters, and music. And that's what makes it the dopest DK level.
The monkey's been taking me to all the fun places I like.
I have thought long and hard about that thing you said.
Kaboom!
The coolest, craziest, cleverest courses comprising the Kong Crusades. This nearly 30-year-old trilogy of games, especially the second one, are my childhood. Legacy content on the Switch is not what I hoped it would be, but when I look at those 3 non-subscription based, digitally owned thumbnails on my 3DS, I think to myself,
regardless of where we decide to go, we're taking this goddamn monkey because I love this guy. I love him.